فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. أما بعد. Today then, question number 7 we begin with. ما هو الإيمان المطلق وهل يزيد وينقص? This question is about the topic of Eemaan. And we've talked about Eemaan before, what Eemaan is, what the definition of Eemaan is. We mentioned before that basically in summary, you can say Eemaan is explained by 3 things. What were those 3 things? If you were generally going to describe how Eemaan works, then what is it? Anyone?
It is belief in the heart.
There's belief in the heart.
Uttered by the tongue.
What you say upon the tongue.
And action by the limbs.
And actions of the limbs. Belief in the heart. Statements of the tongue. Actions of the limbs. Belief in the heart. Statements of the tongue. Actions of the limbs. So when it comes to Eemaan, of course, you have belief in your heart, your belief in Allah, your belief in the Day of Judgment, your belief in the angels, your Eemaan and your belief in all of those various things, your belief in the affairs of the unseen, about paradise, about hell, about the grave and the barzakh and all the things that happen. We haven't seen any of those things, but you have Eemaan that all of those things will happen. So you have Eemaan in your heart. And then on top of that, you have statements of the tongue. So you say the Shahada, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. If a person refuses to say the Shahada, but he says he believes in his heart, can he become a Muslim like that? No. So Eemaan is in the heart, but you have to say it too. The Shahada and other statements of the tongue, reciting the Quran, doing dua, these are all things that happen on the tongue. And then there are things that happen in your actions, like prayer, you physically pray. And also, Hajj, you physically go do Hajj. There's lots of actions of worship in the religion you physically do, of course. So Eemaan, it covers all of those aspects. Belief in the heart, statements of the tongue, actions of the limbs. And Eemaan, as we know, it increases and it decreases. Sometimes your Eemaan may be strong, and there might be times when your Eemaan is weak. It happens. Your Eemaan is high, and maybe sometimes your Eemaan is low. So these are all things that we're going to discuss in this particular section now. He says, Al-Iman ismun jami'un li'aqa'idil qalb wa a'malihi wa a'malil jawarih wa aqwalil lisan فجميع الدين وأصوله وفروعه داخل في الإيمان ويترتب على ذلك أنه يزيد بقوة الاعتقاد وكثرته وحسن الأعمال والأقوال وكثرتها وينقص بضد ذلك. So Eemaan, it is an ismun jami'un. In English they say a comprehensive term. It is a comprehensive term لعقائد القلب, for all of the beliefs of the heart, وأعماله, and the actions of the heart. What are the actions of the heart? What does it mean? وَأَعْمَالِ الْقَلْبِ أَعْمَالُ الْقَلْبِ. What are the actions of the heart? But here when it says ما هو الإيمان؟ الإيمان اسم جامع لعقائد القلب وأعماله. The aqaid, that's clear, that you have the iman in Allah, in the day of judgment, in the angels, the books, all of those things. Aqaidul qalb. A'malul qalb.
It's like hubbullah.
Like the ibadat which happen from the heart. There are certain types of ibadat which are from the heart. For example, love, fear, hope, tawakkul, all of these things are from the heart. These are a'malul qalb. So for example, when you put your trust in someone, who do you put your trust in? In who?
Allah.
And an evidence for that? Huh? وَعَلَى اللَّهِ فَتَوَكَّلُوا إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. So now that tawakkul, putting your trust and dependence in Allah, how does it work? How does it happen? From the heart. It is from أعمال القلب. So you have اسم جامع لعقائد القلب وأعماله. وأعمال الجوارح. The actions of the limbs. Actions of the limbs like what?
Hands, feet, everything.
Examples like prayer, Hajj, all of jihad. These are all أعمال الجوارح, actions of the limbs. Worship that you have to do with your limbs. Then أقوال اللسان. أقوال اللسان, like obviously we said before that first thing, النطق بالشهادتين. And then after that, all of the adhkar and the dua and tilawat al-Quran, all of this, it comes under the actions of the tongue, أقوال اللسان, or sometimes they say أعمال اللسان. And then it says فجميع الدين, all of the religion وأصوله وفروعه داخل في الإيمان. All of the religion, its foundational aspects and its branches, all of it is within Eemaan. ويترتب على ذلك أنه يزيد بقوة الاعتقاد. What is compounded upon that, what is built upon that then, is that Eemaan increases the more strength of belief you have. The more strength of belief in your aqidah and in your actions and in the good actions that you do. The husn al-a'mal wal-aqwal wa kathratiha, all of the actions you do, the good actions and the amount of actions you do, then all of that will help in increasing your iman. But ينقص بضد ذلك, meaning when you don't do a lot of worship, you don't do good actions and piety and righteousness, and instead you're wasting your time on the streets, not in the mosque, not praying, no dhikr, no dua, no nothing, no Quran, then all of that is going to impact on your iman by decreasing your iman. Al-Shaykh Ahmed al-Najmi rahimahullah ta'ala, he said, أقول قد تقدم لنا أن الإيمان والإسلام يتداخلان فيطلق أحدهما على الآخر، فإن ذكر الإيمان دخل فيه الإسلام، وإن ذكر الإسلام دخل فيه الإيمان، إلا أن الإيمان يطلق على العقائد الباطنة كما ذكر ذلك في حديث جبريل الإيمان أن تؤمن بالله وملائكته وكتبه ورسله واليوم الآخر وتؤمن بالقدر خيره وشره. وأما الإسلام فأخبر أنه هو الأعمال الظاهرة، النطق بالشهادتين مع اعتقاد القلب أصل الإيمان والإسلام، ثم إقامة الصلاة وإيتاء الزكاة وصوم رمضان وحج البيت الحرام. هذه الخصال الخمس الظاهرة هي الإسلام. So when we talk about these two words, Islam and Eemaan, we mentioned before, Islam and Eemaan are two words that,
when united, are the same.
if they are mentioned separately, then they include each other. But if they are mentioned together, then they each have an independent meaning. So Islam, it is Iman, and Iman, it is Islam. But if you want to give an independent meaning for each, then Islam is the al-a'mal al-zahira, the open actions, the outward actions. Stating the shahadatain, giving the zakat, praying, fasting, hajj, the outward actions, the pillars of Islam. And as for Iman, it is the inward, the inward and the inside beliefs. Belief in Allah, belief in the angels, belief in the books, in the prophets, in the messengers, belief in the day of judgment. So Islam is the apparent and outward actions, and Iman is the inward actions and beliefs. Also, we mentioned before some of the evidences that your actions, your deeds come into the definition of Iman. Because you remember Ahlul Bid'ah, they say that al-a'mal, the actions, are outside of the musamma of al-iman. They are outside of the definition and the term of iman. But of course we know Ahlul Sunnah have mentioned your actions, your worship, your deeds are part of your iman. And what is the evidence? What is the evidence أن الأعمال داخلة في الإيمان؟ إنما الأعمال بالنيات. But how is that evidence that the actions are from Iman? That hadith is telling us every action you do, your recompense, the jaza, will be upon your niyyah. So somebody comes and prays riya'an, no reward for him. Somebody comes and prays with ikhlas, reward for him. That's what the hadith is telling us. But we need evidence that actions are from Iman.
There's ayah. I think Surah Al-Imran or Baqarah, where Allah says, "Inna Allah la yudhi'u imanakum." Like the Sahaba.
Inna Allah la yudhi'u imanakum. This is ayah.
No.
There's
إن الله لا يضيع من أجر من أحسن عملا.
No, his ayah. What's the ayah?
The ayah, the Sahaba, they used to pray to.
No, what's the ayah first? No, everybody check the ayah. Let's do the ayah first.
Let's go with that.
The ayah first. The ayah is right. He's right. But what is the ayah? وما كان الله وما كان الله. Huh?
وكان الله. Finish the ayah, please.
That's what I'm saying. What is it?
I thought you know, but you want to.
No, because he said it quite slightly incorrect. So what is the ayah? We done it. Everybody's done it. We did it before. What was the story?
It's different.
The story was what? Anybody who wants to finish it off? This evidence that actions are from Eemaan? What was the point he was trying to make with the ayah? That Allah will not waste your Eemaan. What does it mean in the ayah? That Allah does not waste your Eemaan. The ayah mentions Allah does not waste or lose or make useless your Eemaan.
Your actions.
No, but this ayah,
Your
وَمَا
actions.
كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيُضِيعَ إِيمَانَكُمْ, what does it mean?
So the actions that you perform will not go to waste.
So Allah will not waste your Eemaan. Which Eemaan?
Actions, the ibadat.
What's the tafsir of the ayah? We did it before. Remember when they used to pray, which direction did they used to pray?
Facing Quds.
Facing towards
Jerusalem.
what is Jerusalem known as. They used to face that way. Then the revelation came and they changed the direction of the Qibla from Jerusalem towards Mecca. So when that happened, some of the Sahaba radiyallahu anhum came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they said, what about
Those who died.
the others, our brothers who died before the Qibla direction changed? So all of their prayers were in the old
Qibla.
Qibla. They never prayed to the new one. So are their prayers going to be still accepted or are their prayers all cancelled? Will their prayers count for nothing now? They died before the change of direction. They never got to pray to the Qibla in Mecca. They died before that. All of their prayers were in the old direction towards Jerusalem. So does that mean all of their actions, all of their prayers are going to be wiped out? They won't get any reward for that now? So then the ayah was revealed. وَمَا كَانَ اللَّهُ لِيُضِيعَ إِيمَانَكُمْ. That Allah will not waste your Eemaan, talking about their
Salah.
prayers. Prayer, is it a physical action or not?
Yes.
Physical action. Allah is telling you that physical action is called
Eemaan.
Eemaan. Allah will not waste your Eemaan, your prayer. And praying is a physical action. Therefore, physical actions are part of Eemaan. What other evidences were there? We did some easy evidences, easy ones.
The hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, when he mentioned that there are 70 odd levels of Eemaan.
Alright, there was this hadith. The hadith about Eemaan, that it is بضع وستون أو بضع وسبعون شعبة. أعلاها قول لا إله إلا الله أدناها إماطة الأذى عن الطريق والحياء شعبة من الإيمان. That Eemaan is 60 odd or 70 odd levels. The highest level is
La ilaha.
the statement لا إله إلا الله توحيد. The lowest level إماطة الأذى عن الطريق. That you remove some harm out of the pathway. That is a part of Eemaan, it's being mentioned. It's the lowest level, but it is a level of Eemaan. To remove something from the roadway, something which is going to harm people, an obstacle. When you remove that obstacle out of the roadway, is that a physical action or not?
Yes.
Physical action, it's not going to be you're going to look at it and it moves. You have to move it physically. So now this physical action of moving the harm from out of the pathway is being mentioned as one of the levels of Eemaan. So physical actions are from Eemaan. Other evidences, there is, for example,
Can we like سورة القارعة ومن عمل مثقال ذرة خيرا يرى من يعمل.
but where's the
Not gonna
connection?
be lose. I mean, even مثقال ذرة.
Okay, so whoever does even an atom's weight of good,
Yeah.
he will see it. It will be there. For your deeds, for your accountability, the jaza, and Yawm al-Qiyamah, the hisab, every single action you do, even an atom's weight, you will see it. But how is that proof about.
That means if you done something with the Iman, proper Iman, you will get it 100%.
You get it, but what we want here.
Physical or inside, whatever.
That's true. It's true, but it's.
That's how I link it, but I don't know if it's true in the ulama.
No, it's true. It's true, but in the ayah, is it proof? If a mubtadi' came and said, okay, but where? فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَى. Where is the link to Iman?
Yeah.
In the ayah, you cannot show. So you have to give some evidences where you can show.
أو من يعمل مثقال ذرة خير is from Iman. You will never have خير without Iman.
Okay, good. But even Ahlul Bid'ah, they agree. Like Murji'atul Fuqaha, what do they say? Murji'atul Fuqaha, they say, do you have to do good actions or not? Do you have to do khair or not? They say yes. But is it from Iman? They say no.
Okay.
So now what are you going to do? Murji'atul Fuqaha, they say you have to do the khair, but it's not part of Iman.
No, but I'm talking about Aqid Ahl Sunnah Jama'ah.
No, but that's it. We want now the evidence to show the people. Okay. If a mubtadi' comes, you explain to them Aqidah of Ahl Sunnah. What's the dalil? What's the evidence? How are you going to prove to them? So you have to know your Aqidah, the evidences, the proofs for it. So that is some of them. There is also a hadith, At-Tahur Shatrul Iman. Purification is half of your Iman. Purification, is it a physical action or not? Making wudu, making ghusl, physical action or not? Physical. In the hadith it says it is shatrul iman, half of your iman. So physical action of wudu, ghusl, etc. are part of iman. These are all evidences highlighting that actions are from iman. There is even ijma' of Ahlul Sunnah upon it. What did Al-Imam Al-Bukhari say?
العلم قبل القول والعمل.
No, in this issue of iman.
I met over 1,800.
He said in that state, لقيت أكثر من ألف عالم.
They all
I met more than 1,000 scholars in all of the Amsar, he says, in the different countries. Every one of them says Al-Iman.
يزيد وينقص.
First, Al-Iman.
قول وعمل.
قول وعمل يزيد وينقص. So it is agreed upon by Ahl Sunnah that actions are from Iman. It is the people of innovation who say that actions are not from Iman. The Jahmiyyah, from the olden days, from the people of Bid'ah, the Jahmiyyah, and they exist now. Maybe they have different names. The names change, but the Aqidah is the same they have. They say in the ta'arif of Iman what? Some of the Jahmiyyah and the Ahlul Bid'ah, they say Iman, the ta'arif, the haddul Iman, it is al-ma'rifah. That's it. To know Allah. If you know Allah, you have Iman, they say. So Ahlul Sunnah said in that case, MashaAllah, Iblis, mu'min. That's what they said. If Iman is ma'rifah, that's what they said. Al-Iman, ma'rifah. Al-ma'rifah, that's all they say. You have to know Allah. If you know Allah exists and you believe, that's Iman. Iblis, does he know Allah exists and believe in Allah? Mu'min in that case. So you see their definition is completely wrong. You have others, Kullabiyya, Karramiyya, all of these groups of innovation. Some of them they say, you have to have statement of the tongue. Only statement of the tongue, an-nutqu bil-lisan, that's Iman. So whoever says, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wa anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh, mu'min. Just the statement of the tongue. In that case, المنافقون الذين في الدرك الأسفل من النار مؤمنون ما شاء الله. In that case, if it is just النطق باللسان, can't be. It cannot be just statement of the tongue. The hypocrites used to give you the statement of the tongue. So you see these definitions of theirs are wrong. They have other definitions too. Some of them they say it is belief. It is belief in the heart and statements of the tongue. This is the Asha'ira. Belief of the heart, statement of the tongue, and that's it.
No عمل بالجوارح.
No amal bil jawarih. But they say, some of them, you need to do the actions as well, just so that we can give the hukm in this world that you are a mu'min. Because if you don't do any actions, how do we know you're mu'min or not? So for us, we need to see you do actions so we can know you are a mu'min. But as far as the afterlife, the akhirah is concerned, the hukm for that, as long as you believe and you make the statement, you don't need to do any actions. But this then goes to the murji'ah. The murji'ah, they say, لا يضر مع الإيمان معصية. Do whatever sins you want, as long as you have iman, you're safe. Is that okay? You say you're a mu'min, but do whatever sins you want, it doesn't have any impact? Of course it does, as we're going to come and see now. When you do sins, it impacts your iman, it decreases your iman. But they say, as long as you have iman, then whatever sins you do, you are safe. You are mu'min fil jannah. And because of their mistake in understanding the evidences, there are some hadith about the one who dies upon tawheed, the one who says the shahada, that he is a believer, he will enter paradise. They think as long as you have iman, do whatever sins you want, you're safe. The Khawarij on the other side, what do they say? The Khawarij, another group of the deviants of Ahlul Bid'ah, what do they say?
The evil.
يكفر بالكبائر.
That a person murtakibul kabirah, the one who commits a major sin, all of his iman is taken away, gone, kafir. In the afterlife, mukhallad fi nar.
Even there's the one who smokes cigarette, normal cigarette.
خلاص. If it's a kabira min al-kabair, they say if he dies upon that without repentance, he dies, then that person has died upon a kabira, and therefore he has died as a kafir. In the afterlife, he'll be in the hellfire forever. Why do they say this? If a person commits a sin, does all of your iman disappear, you become a kafir? Or does some of your iman disappear and you become weak in your iman? Which one?
The second one.
Some of your iman goes down. When you do sins, then obviously your iman starts getting weaker and weaker. It doesn't just disappear straight away. It becomes weaker and weaker. But the Khawarij say, if you commit a sin, that's it. Your iman has gone. Why do they say that?
Because they don't believe al-iman yazid wa yanqus.
Why? What's the problem? As far as the Khawarij are concerned, iman la yatajazza wa la yataba'ad. As far as they understand. That iman cannot be broken up. Iman is one thing. One thing. So when you commit a sin, what has to happen? When you commit sins, some of your iman has to drop. But the Khawarij believe iman is one thing. So you can't take a piece of your iman off, but you can't leave it all there because you've committed a sin. So what are you going to do? You're going to have to just take the whole thing away then. And therefore you're kafir. Basically that's it. You have the murji'ah the other way. They say as long as you've got iman, commit whatever sins, that's not going to touch it. And both of those are wrong.
إفراط عن تفريط.
One in extremism, one in negligence. And that is the way you see Ahlul Bid'ah. Ahlul Sunnah always upon the straight path. Ahlul Bid'ah either in ghulu or in negligence. Extremism or negligence. This way or that way. That's why some of them, they say the ones who believe iman doesn't increase and decrease. Some of the people of innovation who believe that iman doesn't increase and decrease. So they believe everybody's iman is the same. Doesn't go up, doesn't go down. Everybody's iman is the same. So they say, your iman, my iman is exactly the same amount of iman that even Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu anhu had. You've got the same amount of iman that as Abu Bakr did. MashaAllah. Even more than that, you've got the same amount of iman as Jibreel has. And so they believe. All of these you can see clearly is wrong. Ahlul Sunnah, what do we say? Eemaan is statements of the heart, is a belief of the heart, statements of the tongue, actions of the limbs. It increases with obedience to Allah and decreases with disobedience to Allah. Increases when you do obedience, decreases when you do sin. And what is the evidence for that? Somebody comes now and says, explain to me then the aqidah of Ahl Sunnah. What is your dalil that Iman increases and decreases? What are you going to tell him? We've done it before. We've studied it. So what is the answer? Somebody asks you, Iman increases, decreases. Where's your proof? What are you going to tell them? Anything you want. Evidence. No evidence? خلاص. Then نحن مع أهل البدع. So what is the evidence then? Iman increases and decreases. Any evidence you can think of. From the Quran, from the Sunnah, that Iman increases and decreases. Any evidence? There are some you know.
Allah Azza wa Jal say one ayah, but I can't say it. وَزَادَهُمْ إِيمَانًا.
There were one, more than one.
Yeah, that's what I remember, but I don't know the ayah.
في قلوبهم مرض فزادهم الله.
Maradan, that's the
opposite one.
the kufr in their hearts, the mushrikun. That's the opposite. There are many evidences. Easy ones all of you will know. من رأى منكم منكرا فليغيره بيده فإن لم يستطع فبلسانه فإن لم يستطع فبقلبه وذلك أضعف الإيمان. That whoever sees an evil, change it with your hand. If you cannot, change it with your tongue. If you cannot, hate it in your heart at least, and that is the weakest of Iman. Meaning that is the decrease and the lower amount of Iman. But if you changed it with your hand, that would be the increase and the higher level of Iman. One evidence we already mentioned before.
The regular one should answer.
Huh?
Your regular students, they should answer.
No, everybody should answer. Go on.
Especially the one I heard.
But this one, everybody heard it today. Evidence that Iman increases and decreases. 10 minutes ago.
Is that ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة خير يره ومن يعمل مثقال ذرة شر يره?
But it doesn't prove Iman goes up and down. We mentioned it 10 minutes ago, the evidence Iman increases, decreases. Okay, but the one we mentioned before now, 10 minutes ago. Yeah, this is the ayat in the Quran, they are there. But 10 minutes ago, what did we say? Al-Iman bid'un wa sittuna shu'ab. The levels of Iman increase, decrease. A'laha, adanaha. It goes up, it goes down. Those are levels of Iman. And if there are levels of Iman, it means Iman goes up the levels and Iman goes down the levels. Some scholars, they also use the evidence when the Prophet ﷺ said about the women, مَا رَأَيْتُ مِن نَاقِصَاتِ عَقْلٍ وَدِينٍ مِنْ إِحْدَاكُنَّ. That I have not seen anybody deficient in religion and intellect than one of the women. What does it mean with that? Deficient in the intellect, meaning that the testimony, the shahada, when you do it, 2 women for 1 man, etc. But naqisat fi deen, what does that mean?
Through periods. So
It means Iman, that they are deficient in Iman.
They're not able to.
Why are women deficient in Iman? Why are they low, going down in Iman?
They're not able to practice.
That the explanation, the sharh of the hadith, when the woman is the ha'id, when she's on that period, is she allowed to pray? No. Can she pick up the mushaf and the Quran? Touch it? No. Can she fast? No. So what's going to happen to her Iman? Maybe it's going to go down a little bit in those days. She cannot do these ibadat. It's possible her Iman will decrease a bit. She's not praying. She's not fasting. She's not touching the mushaf to read and things like that. So maybe that's going to impact on her Iman will go down. مَا رَأَيْتُ مِن نَاقِصَاتِ عَقْلٍ وَدِينٍ. That's what it means. That you are in the period, you cannot pray, you cannot fast, so your Iman goes down a bit. That, the scholars say, is an evidence showing how Iman goes down. Iman goes down, and then when they are praying and fasting, the Iman will come back up again. So there are evidences indicating it. What about the hadith? When the Prophet ﷺ had a dream, what did he see in the dream which proves Iman goes up and down and people have different levels of Iman? One of the usul.
Beit Umar.
Huh?
He saw Umar house in the Jannah.
The house, there's another example about Umar in another hadith. Huh?
He saw people with garments.
There was the hadith when the Prophet ﷺ saw people in the dream and they were wearing these shirts, thobes, garments, and everybody had a different size. Some people, you just go to here, that's it, to the chest, finished. Some of them, their shirt is a bit longer to here. Some of them a bit longer, some of them to their knees, some of them to the ankles. Then he saw Umar ibn Khattab, his shirt was so long, like the thobe, it was so long that it was longer than him. He was walking and it was all the way there behind him. So they said to the Prophet ﷺ, "Ma awwalta dhalika ya Rasulullah." This ru'ya, this vision, this dream that he had. The Prophet ﷺ said, "Ad-deen." Yani al-iman. That these people, they were the different size clothes was an explanation of the different levels of iman people have. So Umar ibn Khattab had a huge amount of iman that the Prophet ﷺ saw him wearing a garment so long that he was dragging it behind him. So those are all examples of iman increasing and decreasing.
Well, what about Abu Bakr?
Same Abu Bakr mentions if you were to put the iman of Abu Bakr onto one side of the weighing scale and the iman of the ummah on the other side, the iman of Abu Bakr would be outweigh. So that indicates the strength and the depth and the amount of iman of Abu Bakr compared to the other people. So no doubt this is one of the usul. We mentioned 3 principles last time about iman. One is that actions are from iman. 2 was that iman increases and decreases. And number 3 principle was al-asl al-thalith, we mentioned last time, al-mu'minuna mutafawituna fil iman. Ahlul Bid'ah, they say no, level, everybody same. Ahlul Sunnah, we say no, some people have more iman, some people have less iman. Here Al-Shaykh Ahmed al-Najmi rahimahullah mentions قوله اسم جامع لعقائد القلب أي عقيدة الإيمان بالله وهو الإيمان بوجوده والإيمان بربوبيته والإيمان بأسمائه وصفاته والإيمان بتوحيده بتوحده بالألوهية وأنه هو الإله الحق الذي يجب أن يعبد بأن يطاع فلا يعصى ويذكر فلا ينسى ويشكر فلا يكفر والإيمان بوجود الملائكة العباد المكرمون الذين يقومون بالوظائف التي خصصها الله لكل منهم والإيمان بالكتب التي أنزلت من عند الله وأشهرها التوراة والزبور والإنجيل وصحف إبراهيم وموسى والقرآن الذي نزل على نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وهو المهيمن عليها. This Shaykh Ahmad is mentioning about the different levels of Iman and the different types of Iman. Then he says, ويشمل الإيمان أعمال الجوارح فالقيام والركوع والسجود والقراءة والتشهد والتسبيح كل ذلك من أعمال الإيمان. Standing, bowing, prostrating, reciting, all of these are different actions of Iman. والإنفاق من الصدقة التطوعية والفريضة, the charity that you give as an optional charity or the obligatory one like zakat, كلها من أعمال الإيمان. وصوم العبد بترك شهواته لله تعالى ذلك من الإيمان. And that a person fasts, leaving his desires for the sake of Allah, then that is from Iman. وحفظ العبد جوارحه عن الامتداد إلى أموال الناس, and stopping yourself from taking the wealth of the people. ومشي العبد من بيته إلى المسجد لأداء الصلوات الخمس, and walking from your homes to the mosque is part of Iman, all of this. وخوف العبد من الله عز وجل إذا أذنب, and fearing Allah when you make a sin or that you may make a sin is from your iman to have that fear. وتركه للذنوب, and leaving the sinning is from iman. ذلك من الإيمان وهكذا فجميع عقائد الدين أصوله وفروعه داخلة في الإيمان. أي كما مثلنا, يقول الشيخ أحمد, كما مثلنا وإذا كان الله عز وجل. Here he gives the example now. You remember that narration about, in English they say like the prostitute woman who from Bani Israel, when she saw a dog that was thirsty, that woman when she saw the dog that was thirsty, رأت كلبا يلهث يأكل الثرى من العطش, so then she put her shoe down into the, or her scarf down, and she filled it with some water, and then she gave it to the dog. So because of that action she did, شكر الله لها وغفر لها بسبب ذلك. That action of hers was an action of Iman to do this. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave her because of that action she did. ولهذا قال أهل العلم, that's why the people of knowledge they say, الإيمان يزيد بالطاعات وينقص بالمعاصي. Iman increases with obedience and decreases with sinning. فجميع الطاعات تزيد في الإيمان. So all of the obediences, they increase you in Iman. فأداء الصلاة على الوجه المطلوب يزيد في الإيمان ومذاكرة العلم تزيد في الإيمان وحفظ السمع عن سماع الخناء يزيد في الإيمان. So when you perform the prayer, it increases you in Iman. When you're revising the knowledge, it increases you in Iman. When you stop yourself and guard yourself from listening to the haram and the impermissible affairs, it increases you in Iman. And then it carries on with lots of examples of things that increase you in Iman. How does your Iman increase? Two ways. We just said, what are the two main ways for your Iman to increase? One is by doing worship, doing the obedience, the ta'ah. What's the other way to increase your Iman? To leave the sinning. So when you do obedience, increases your Iman. When there is a sin, but you stop yourself from doing that sin and you turn away, that will strengthen your Iman. But if you go into it and you fall into it, then your Iman goes with it, decreases with it. But sins, when you stop yourself from doing sins, that is something which helps your Iman then and strengthens your Iman. فَمَنْ اعْتَقَدَ أن الإيمان قول باللسان واعتقاد بالقلب وعمل بالجوارح يزيد بالطاعات وينقص بالمعاصي. من اعتقد هذا الاعتقاد فقد خرج من الإرجاء وعقيدة الإرجاء ويكفينا من الأدلة على ذلك ما ورد من الحديث في الشفاعة. So whomsoever believes that Iman is belief in the heart, statements of the tongue, actions of the limbs, and that it increases with obedience and decreases with disobedience, then you are upon the correct Iman, away from the methodology of the Murji'ah, those people of innovation who claim that Iman does not increase, decrease Iman, your actions are not from it, and those things that we discussed earlier. That is where we're going to round off for today. Any questions on that so far?
Does it have to be in this regarding
No,
this?
go on, anything. Any questions regarding this first?
Yeah.
Ah.
The 5 pillars of Islam are the part of Iman.
We done it. So, are the 5 pillars of Islam part of Iman? What's the answer?
Yes.
They are absolutely. The 5 pillars of Islam are part of Iman. They are actions, they are worship, they are obedience. They are part of Iman, no doubt. Anything else on Iman?
تحذير من أهل البدع هل يعتبر من الإيمان؟
Absolutely. Warning from the people of innovation. Warning against the people of innovation, is that from Iman? Is it ibadah. It is, because when you make the rudud, absolutely it is al-amr bil ma'ruf wa nahy al-munkar, enjoining the good and forbidding the evil. When you make a refutation, why do you do it? When you refute somebody, you sometimes hear the scholars, they refuted other people. They said, don't listen to him. He's not a good speaker. Don't listen to such and such a sheikh. He's not a good sheikh. You hear people say this sometimes. Why do Muslims refute other Muslims?
In order to preserve and
What's
protect
the reason why you should do that?
to preserve and protect the religion.
It is for the purpose of preserving and protecting the religion, and also for the guidance of the people. The example the scholars, they sometimes give, or an example which has been mentioned. Imagine now something simple, anything you want, like an operation. Imagine now you're ill, you got some serious problem, you need to have an operation. So you go and book yourself in with the surgeon at the hospital. Then you come, you tell your friends, tomorrow I've got the surgery, I have the operation in the hospital, and the surgeon's name is something, whatever, doctor this, doctor that. Your friends tell you, which doctor? Dr. Fulan? That doctor. Akhi, you know how many operations he messed up? He was in the news. This doctor always messes up the operations. He's got a very bad record. I wouldn't go to this doctor. Instead, there's another doctor, he's got such good ratings and all these good things. I recommend you try to change in the hospital to the other surgeon. If people say that, what would you say back to them? You'd say,
Thank you.
Alhamdulillah.
Yeah.
You hug them, everything. Akhi, Jazakallah khair. I'll go to the hospital, I'll try and change, I'll go to the other doctor. I didn't know you were so bad. With anything in the dunyawi affairs, your car breaks down, you tell your friends it's broken, I'm going to take it to the garage on Hanover Street. They say, the Hanover Street garage. Majnoonant. Those people there, they don't know anything, akhi. They're not qualified, nothing. They'll mess your car. So many times all of us, we went and they broke our cars. Don't go to them. Go to the other garage down there. You're going to say, Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah khair.
Yeah.
I'll go to the other, these people, I didn't know they were so bad. My car never broke before. I didn't know that they don't do a good job. They're not qualified. I'll go to the other guy you told me instead. Now, a sheikh comes to give a lecture. So then you say, Akhi, no. This so-called sheikh, he's got a lot of errors, a lot of problems in how he teaches and what he teaches. He makes a lot of mistakes. He might have studied here or there, he might have learned some things, but many scholars, many people of knowledge have highlighted and they've picked out that he's got quite a lot of mistakes. He's got quite a lot of misunderstandings in what he teaches. He doesn't teach quite right. He never studied quite right. Stay away from him. He's not a good one to study with. What's the difference between that and the hospital example and the car example? Any difference?
Okay.
But in this example, if you say that to people, they say, "Akhi, what's your problem?
Yeah.
Is he not Muslim? Khalas, the mechanic is Muslim too. Go take your car to him, he'll break it for you.
Yeah.
The surgeon, he was a Muslim, Dr. Malik. Go to him as well, he'll kill you.
Yeah.
For those people, you don't have any problem, huh? But when in the religion, which is more important than your car and more important than your body, the religion is more important than your car and your body. Somebody sincerely gives you advice, Akhi, such and such and people, it's not a good idea to go with them. They don't teach you properly, they have some problems, they cooperate with people of deviation, of innovation. When we used to be in the university in the olden days here in the UK, they used to have the Ikhwani Masjid. Rafidi Shi'i. They used to walk in, put down their stones on the floor, they do, put the stone on the floor and do all what they do. But the Ikhwanis, when we used to tell them, how can you allow all these things to happen? You let the Shi'i, the Rafida, everything, they do what they want. Why don't you stop this? Spread only the Aqidah of Ahl Sunnah here. They said, no, Akhi, he's the Muslim, we all brothers. This Rafidi says Abu Bakr as-Siddiq is a kafir, but no, we're Muslim, we're brothers.
عندهم القاعدة الباطلة تاع.
Exactly, that we turn a blind eye to what we do not agree on, and we'll just cooperate upon what we agree on. The principle they have is the minimum agreement. What is the minimum agreement?
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. The Khariji Takfiri, he will say to you, I believe أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله. The Tablighi, Sufi, Mubtadi', Mushrik maybe. He says to you, لا أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله.
And then go to
وأن محمد
Qabr.
رسول, and go to Qabr, do everything.
Ask for help.
All of the people of innovation, they'll say to you, أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمد رسول الله. So then we are all brothers, we're all the same, there's no problem, huh? He can believe Abu Bakr is a kafir, he can believe Aisha fornicator, والعياذ بالله. They believe all of these things, you say, no, it's okay, we all say La ilaha illallah. How? Is that right? That isn't what we were taught. That isn't what the Prophet ﷺ taught us. That is not what the Salaf they taught us. So you have to be careful with this. Don't start thinking like the Ikhwanis, they say, oh, these people are always talking about other Muslims. It's not about other Muslims. It is about sincerity in advice in religion. You sincerely want to advise someone that this mechanic is going to mess up your car. So you advise your brother with sincerity. Same way you hear about a particular sheikh and you know this sheikh, the scholars of Ahlul Sunnah have refuted him. So you advise the people that is not suitable to listen to him. Like for example, we spoke before, remember Al-Maghrib. Al-Maghrib Institute. You've heard about Al-Maghrib Institute, Yasir Qadi and those people. All the scholars, they have refuted them. They don't teach you the proper Islam. They teach you so many mistakes and so many wrongs. So the scholars, they said, don't go to them. They're not teaching you Islam.
Right.
It's entertainment they are giving you. Selling you tickets for entertainment and joking. Even telling you magic is halal. That's what they do.
Mortgage halal.
Everything halal, no problem. They have, you have Hayat Kibar Ulama, Lajna Da'ima, all that. You know, in Urubba, they have the permanent
Fatawa.
committee, huh?
European Fatawa.
The European Fatawa Committee. Everything is halal, no problem. Interest, mortgage, whatever you want to do. Some of them, they give fatwa. You can shake the hand of
Work
woman
taxi.
who is not mahram to you. You can listen to music. You can watch dramas on TV.
You can
Every fatwa.
take kuffar from clubs, girls, and with a drink, people vomiting in your car. Say, okay,
Everything,
halal.
everything. They say because these are the...
Go stay in West Street in the night, wait for the rukab.
No, absolutely. That's
Yeah.
it. The taxis, all these things.
Yeah.
So when you're refuting other people, it's not because you want to speak bad about them, not because you got a problem with them, because at the end of the day, what are you going to benefit? What benefit do you get? If I sit here now and I say to you, some place, some person, like now I just said to Yasir Qadi, for example. I said to you, don't listen to Yasir Qadi. What do I benefit from that? What do I get if you guys don't listen to Yasir Qadi, or if you do? What am I going to get?
Inshallah, ajr.
Ajr. But do I get any money from it? Am I going to get the ticket money? I don't charge any money. There's no tickets here. So we don't benefit. The scholars, Ahlul Sunnah, when they make the rudud on Ahlul Bid'ah, do they get anything?
Nothing.
Nothing from it. It is done for the sake of Allah to advise you, this person isn't good. This person has problems. This person isn't teaching properly. It is sincere advice. Imagine your parents now. Imagine your parents were being convinced by a Rafidi to become Shia. And they were being convinced that Abu Bakr and Umar are kuffar. What would you try and do for your parents? You would try to convince them, no, don't listen to him. He's misguided, he's wrong. Wouldn't you? Absolutely. That is what the purpose of rudud is. That you do it sincerely for the sake of Allah, to guide the people to the truth and keep them away from the misguidance.
And to every Muslim, some people, they warn the people who know them. Like if I know Jabir, I come to him, hey, don't listen to that. But if you don't know that guy, I don't come to him. It's like you have to know the person to give a nasiha. Is that true?
No, yeah, nasiha, when you're giving it, it's not only to the people you know.
Yeah.
The Prophet ﷺ in the hadith, الدين النصيحة, الدين النصيحة, الدين النصيحة. قالوا لمن يا رسول الله؟ قال لله ولكتابه ولرسوله ولأئمة المسلمين ولعامتهم. To all of the Muslims, you want to give them good advice, to your brothers, to the sisters, to the ummah. The da'wah is open to everybody. Nobody is saying the da'wah is closed. Here it is open. We're not going to stop anybody coming and attending to the class. We don't have any rule, only this person, that person can come. Sunday here, 5 o'clock, everybody who wants to come can come. The da'wah is open, it is clear, there's nothing to hide.
We don't have private meeting, nothing. We don't.
There is nothing like
behind
that.
the scene. No,
There is no private, no private. It is public da'wah. Everybody come, listen, attend. Now here, look, it's on the radio. Broadcast. Anybody in the world, and they do. They listen from India, from China. I once saw one of these lectures from somewhere. I saw it on Chinese website. So everybody, public da'wah. And this is just these small classes. Imagine the mashayikh and the ulama. Their classes are spread in the world. Da'wah to everybody. So that is the way it is to be done. We'll have to round off on that for tonight. Prayer is coming in soon.
No, one more question.
Go on.
I've got one friend of mine, a friend from the same country where I'm from. He saw me talking about one Akhwani guy here in Sheffield, warning other people to not listen to the guy, to not deal with that guy. He said, you don't have to. He's a Salafi like me, the one who told me. He said, no, it's not your business to warn people. Is he right in this circumstances?
So now, he said that he was warning people against a particular Ikhwani.
Maybe I was sorry, to be fair with this guy. I said bad words against that guy. I said like
All right.
kelb. And this he said.
Okay. So he mentioned some harsh words against an Ikhwani, and another person said, you don't need to get involved. You don't have to get involved in these things. Just let people do what they want to do. That is incorrect. What's the proof? You remember that hadith when the Prophet ﷺ said there are some sailors, they go on a boat to the sea. And this boat, this ship has 2 floors. The bottom floor and the top floor. The seawater, can you drink it? No. So they have to take barrels of fresh water, barrels. So they put them on the top of the ship. The people in the bottom of the ship, when they want water, they have to keep coming up to the top to get the water, take it down. Big problem. So the ones at the bottom, they said, why don't we just make a hole, small hole in the ship, and we'll fill the barrels. That water, we can use it for wudu, we can use it for ghusl, we can use it for cooking. Then we only have to go up maybe just once a day, that's it, get the drinking water. Then we won't have to go up so much. Because right now they have to keep going up a few times a day, whatever it is. They won't have to go up so much then. In this example the Prophet ﷺ gave, if you do not enjoin the good and forbid the evil, then what's going to happen if they make the hole?
Drown.
The whole ship. They will drown, the people on top will drown. Shaykh Al-Fawzan said, this is the example of the mujtama'. If you don't tell people and advise them and enjoin the good and forbid the evil, you are letting the mujtama' sink. That's what Shaykh Al-Fawzan said. It is from the characteristics, from the sifat of this ummah. Al-amr bil-ma'ruf wal-nahy 'anil munkar. كنتم خير أمة أخرجت للناس تأمرون بالمعروف وتنهون عن المنكر.
سبب الخيرية.
Absolutely. This is the reason for the goodness of this ummah. That you enjoin the good and you forbid the evil. How you do it, that you can examine and look into. How you speak about a person, what you say. There may be wisdom to speak in a certain way, wisdom not to speak in a certain way. We know what the people are like. It's difficult for them to understand the harsh words. In the Salaf, they used to use harsh words. Harsh words. But we know sometimes the people are not used to harsh words. So you can do the rad. And you don't need to use harsh words.
Yeah, it's better not.
So you can use that for hikmah with the people, that you explain to them without harsh words, even though you know that the harsh words, it is good for that person. But for the people, they will not understand if you use the harsh word. They say, this person is a bad one, they go to him instead. So the way you do it, you look into that. But doing it, of course you must do it. You cannot let the people become misguided. We'll carry on next week, inshallah ta'ala, 5:30 p.m. We'll round off on that for tonight. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين.